Hello ladies and mostly gentlemen, I'm VDB and we're back at the track again, and it went super smoothly. You may remember, but the last time we were at the track, the car had some issues and all 4 spark plugs stopped firing. So before all of this, I need to fix the Hayabusa, and I think the crank sensor is the problem, so I bought a new one. Alright, let's start that episode and see how it went, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Right, but let's start by putting a fresh set of plugs, cause the old ones were a bit crusty. Ugh. I wonder who spent thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours on a project and didn't bother checking the plugs. Huh. That's not even a joke. I really received the new stator in a Whiskas box. That's unusual for Amazon, but works. Hayabusa. So this thing is $300. It sucks because I don't need the stator. I only need the sensor, but they come in a kit. This is worth probably $250, and this one I saw it on Amazon for $50. The only problem is that it was Chinese and only arrived in October, so I bought a kit for $300. But I want to race, so let's see if that was the problem. Fun fact. Well, at the time it wasn't such a fun fact. Yeah, and let me explain what I mean by that. But on some motorcycle, the stator is cooled and bathed in oil. Well, when you don't know this info and you open up the stator case for the first time at 1 in the morning and it's dripping oil all over the floor. And the first thing that comes to your mind is, fuck. Yeah, it's probably a busted crankshaft seal. Season's over. So now you know it wasn't such a fun fact at the time, but yeah, now I know and you do too. Ah.
Several days later.
Okay, I tried everything. I've changed and checked all the sensors that could prevent all 4 plugs to spark. And after that, I didn't know what to do. So yeah, since the wiring was getting more like a bird's nest, maybe I can take some time and at least be productive and clean that mess up. So it's cutting time. Heck yeah. But maybe I should unplug this. Then I arrive at the connectors of this guy, the gear indicator. When I bought the Hayabusa engine, it came with it. I knew it was mainly connected to the speed sensor, but there's a 4th wire which is connected to... let me check. No freaking way. Hello ladies and mostly gentlemen, and welcome to your favorite family show. There's no freaking way. On today's show we have a special question for you. On a gear indicator, on which sensor the 4th wire is tapped into? Is it A, the crank sensor, or B, the freaking crank sensor, or C, there's no fucking way that's the crank sensor, or D, all of the above? Yep. Remember when I spent $300 on a new stator sensor kit, like literally a minute ago? I find out that the gear indicator was connected to the crank sensor using this. You evil contraption of stupidness. That I can translate in French by maudite cochonnerie du calice. It seems that with time and vibration, it almost cut the sensor wire in half, cancelling the signal to the ECU to fire up the plugs. But I do have a remedy for this thing. Easy. Problem solved! Alright, let's try to start the engine. Like I hadn't tried before and I knew it would work. But this time with the camera on and with a fake surprise face. Anything for the views. Even though this reaction might be fake, I was quite delighted that I finally found the issue and solved it. Yeah, only took me 2 days. Okay, now I just need to fix the busted axle boot.
Tabarnak de cochonnerie là.
Ah, perfect! I'm no mechanic and I don't have the proper pliers to crank this metal zip tie. But I've got this! I use these to cut tiles. Should work. And it does! With that part done, let's load the Smart and go on the track, baby! Okay, sorry to interrupt, but there's something amazing happening right now. And the petrol head in me is giggling from head to toe. Okay, first a little bit of history. We're in the 90s. I may be 10 or 12 and my dad used to take me to all kind of auto shows. And this is where I spotted it for the first time. The first prototype of the T-Rex. If you don't recognize it right away, today it looks more like this. So as a kid, it was the first time I was confronted to the idea that someone could build a lightweight motorcycle powered car-ish? Yeah, that's a car-ish. That just blew my mind. This is why I built the Hayabusa, not because it made sense, it really doesn't, but because it was a bucket list thing for me. And today, at the track, the creator, the man behind the T-Rex is just next to me. His name is Daniel Campagna, and just like me, today he is testing his newest creation. But he does it with a bit more budget. Having a real trailer and a driver and, you know, a kind of a team. So of course I rushed myself to his trailer, then I had a long chat with him and his team. Almost forgot that I was racing in a few minutes. He then came to see the Hayabusa, gave me a couple of tips and tricks on what I built exactly like he did in the earliest version of the T-Rex and how they developed better systems over the years. I mean, I was stoked about the conversation I had with him and his team, and I kept telling them that it was their fault if the Hayabusa was a thing now. So now you know why the Hayabusa, as silly as it is, made sense to me and why I had to build it. Alright, enough of history and let's go back to the racing session now. Everything went smoothly until this. Oh boy, yeah, I'm gonna need to change those pants. Let's see that again, because I can assure you that at this exact moment, when I was looking directly at the wall, for a split second, I thought to myself, man, that's gonna hurt, and I'm gonna spend so much time in the shop fixing it. And then the wife's gonna be mad. I swear to God, I really had that thought, just for a second. But then, I kinda saved it. Again, if you don't believe me, racing a Smart, it's really not a good idea. It's too freaking short. I must be dumb for doing it. Alright, let's move to the good news. Nothing, absolutely nothing broke. Well, the fenders are now in a bad shape. I did film them after the first session, but after 3 more sessions, yeah, they were even worse. Everything else seems quite good. Oil pressure, coolant temp, tires, well, almost everything. Since she doesn't find me handsome, but at least she finds me handy, I fixed it like a real Canadian. But seriously, I learned a ton about the Smart. The first thing, I desperately need wider wheels and some semi-slick tires. I know, I need those. Right now I've got some tiny Beatsy Firestones ND 500, which are not wide and grippy enough. And the second, but most important thing that I need to upgrade are these. These are some really cheap Chinesium motorcycle shock and coilovers. They're not adjustable and probably at the weight limit of what they can support. And since the track is, well, let's be frank here, just a bunch of access routes coupled with a semi-oval and a quarter-mile track, some sections are pretty rough. So to prevent any explosion of those cheap shocks, I had to lift my foot on all those sections, losing precious time. Yep, right there. And again. Yep, losing precious time and even losing control. I had the feeling that I was sitting on a ticking bomb with those cheap Chinesium shocks, and that at any moment they could fail and send me directly into the wall. So after 4 sessions, before it was too late, I thought I had enough and I should go pack my bags. And once home, I should go back on the drawing board to calculate and redesign some sections of the suspension and install some proper shock and coilovers that are race worthy. Also, barely minutes after I started packing my stuff, the Talisman had an accident. Luckily, nobody was hurt, only some bent and broken pieces, reminding me that I made the right choice to stop and fix my car. And it was not the only car that had some issues that day. Overall, it was such a great weekend. Saw some new cars, meet some new friends, had the chance to meet one of my childhood idols, and I come back with the Smart in one piece. Alright, so I'm super stoked on how the testing went and also how the Hayabusa behaved. Now I know exactly where I can improve the car, like getting better wheels and tires and a good suspension. I'm also in contact with Mr. Campagna and maybe, yeah, just maybe, I might be able to do an entire video on his latest creation, the Talisman car. But as you saw, because of the accident, he's still waiting for parts to rebuild his car. So he couldn't, at the moment, confirm me anything, and it's really understandable. And finally, after months of repeating this, I will build a roll cage for the Hayabusa. And probably find new ways to reduce the weight of that big girl. So if you don't want to miss any of these things, don't forget to subscribe and see you soon. But till then, go do something with your hands, your head, or both. See you guys.